5 straight wins, longest win streak of the season, and the longest active Major League Baseball win streak for the Phillies. It's Phillies Fastball. Everybody, I got my guys, Oscar, Budejen, Jeff Kerr, I'm Mike Gill. Welcome to today's Fastball segment, which you can check out on all social media platforms. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. Well, 5 wins, and this one's different from some of the others. We're going to get into why. 16-4 since Don Mattingly took over. 20-game sample size. We're going to get into that. But, guys, Oscar, I'm going to start with you today. What about the way they won that game stands out to you last night? Because this one's different from some of the Pirate games over the weekend.
Yeah, look, Schwarber was not in the lineup. I mean, to start off, we were all, what's going on here? I mean, it's a lefty, Lodolo. I mean, are they giving him a day off? And he was a little bit under the weather, and you win a game without Schwarber. That is big news for the Phils. And look, you had both. You had 3 major guys contributing yesterday. Andrew Painter pitching 6 innings. I mean, that is a huge win for the Phils. They needed to have him kind of. He didn't have what I would call a great performance. I mean, the results was fantastic. I mean, he only had like 3 whiffs in the entire game, so that was a little concerning on that end. But look, he did what he needed to do, 6 innings, and then you have the home run by Bohm, the home run by Stott, and those guys are like look like the Schwarber and Harper in the last few weeks. So they've been incredible. And look, you win. Those 3 guys gave you the win yesterday.
Jeff, what about Painter last night? Because Don Mattingly said after the game that he could have pitched him in the 7th. He decided not to because he wanted his bullpen to take over the game. So Painter goes 6, and then it's Keller, Alvarado. Kerkering came in for the 1 out, and Duran. But we're starting to see what he likes his bullpen, Keller, Alvarado, and Duran. But Painter, would you like to see him go out for another inning?
I actually admitted to this to someone on X who mentioned that, and I said I would have put him back out for the 7th. But I understand what they're doing. They're playing this long-term game with Andrew Painter. They're slowly building his confidence up. They did the last start. They did this start. He was only at like 68, 69 pitches. That's why I thought he would come out for the 7th. But I get Mattingly's reasoning. They took the lead in the 6th inning. So, okay, let's go to the guys that we're paying. Brad Keller, Jose Alvarado, Ryan Kerkering if he was available, Johan Duran. Let's play to win this game. And it kind of got screwed up because Brad Keller decided to give him a home run in the 7th.
Another home run.
Well, it's evident, guys, that's his blueprint. Like, he looks at Keller, Alvarado, Duran. If we can get it to the 7th, they think the game is over.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And look, Keller's been bad at home. Let's not sugarcoat it. I think his ERA is over 6 at home. That's something that needs to get fixed. I didn't think Jose Alvarado pitched bad last night. I mean, he let some pitches get away, but I mean, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things outside of the double, I was like, okay,
including the ABS system. I mean, a strikeout. I mean, they called the LBS, and it was a ball, and it was a base on ball. So. Look, Alvarado has been okay. He has not been as dominant as I would really like. I know that Mattingly's playing him up a little bit, which is fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Look, Kerkering has been the most consistent reliever this bullpen has had, together, of course, with Duran. Those are, to me, right now, those are the 2 go-to guys, and I'm glad he brought Kerkering where he brought him.
I do too, Oscar.
Let's look at a couple things in the game from last night. Obviously, Schwarber was out sick, so he's not in the lineup. And we have Bohm moving up to the 3 hole. He's a story here, Oscar. I want to get your take on Bohm and then Stott, a guy who's starting to come around big time as well. Talk a little bit about those 2 particular players and the impact they're having on. What I want to talk about after this is this 20-game span where they are 16-4, but you're not 16-4 without these 2 guys right now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and this is what you see from them over the last 10 games. I mean, we have a stat up there and a slide there over the last 10 games. I mean, Alec Bohm is hitting 405 with 7 runs, 6 RBIs, a 1.166 OPS, which I found it amazing with a 436 on base percentage. If this guy can do this on a consistent basis, we're going to the World Series. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. I mean, if both Bohm and Stott do the 166 and the 881, look, I was looking. One thing that I try to do is I look at trends and I look at their careers, right? When you look at Alec Bohm, he's a 735 OPS guy. And during the season, he's at 604, which is significantly below. But over the last 2 weeks, he's at 1142. So, look, the reality is he's not a 1142 OPS. He's not a 604 OPS. The history says, after all the years he's played, that it's a 735 guy. So he's somewhere in between. The same thing with Stott. He's below average. He's at 97. When you look at the quartile, he's at 97% of all the players in Major League Baseball at a 700 OPS. 927 over the last 2 weeks, 904 the last week. Look, they're going to be coming down. There's no doubt in my mind, but you got to run. I told you this before. The most important thing with this lineup that has flaws is you have to take advantage of those guys that are hot and try to explode them as much as you can. And he's done that with Bohm bringing him primarily fourth. He was third yesterday because Schwarber was out.
Well, the one big thing, too, is, and Jeff, you can comment on this, they're coming up and doing things, Bohm with a home run, dead center field, Stott with a monster shot last night. They're huge. Showing a little bit of power in big moments as well. I agree with you, Oscar. I don't think Bohm, he's been scorching hot. One of the problems with Bohm is he doesn't generally hit for power. But if he can, gap to gap and be that guy, the question is, can you continue to, big picture, can you win with him as your 4-hole hitter? I think we talked about this yesterday. You can't. But Bohm and Stott, if you got them hitting 6 and 7 or 7 and 8, now if they're hitting like this, that adds a lot of depth to this lineup.
That's one thing I've liked from what I've seen out of these two. And Oscar goes by weeks. I go by the month, right? So Alec Bohm is a 935 OPS in May. That's pretty good. I don't care what your career OPS is. So that's helping. But he's helping in the 4-hole. And look, he's quietly been moved up to the 4-hole because Adolis Garcia is struggling. But before that, he was hitting in the 5-hole. He was hitting in the 6-hole, mostly the 6-hole. Bryson Stott's been hitting in the 6-hole and the 7-hole. It seems like they finally got him to where he needs to be in this lineup. And you're getting contributions from the middle of the lineup because of those two. And it's not just them. Like, look what Justin Crawford's been doing this month at the bottom of the lineup. It's those three are helping out Schwarber and Harper, and that's why this team is being able to score runs, and they're in the top 5 in runs per game and top 5 in OPS this month.
Boom, 9-game hit streak, second longest active streak in baseball, guys, 429, 5 multi-hit games during that span, and the Phillies keep on winning. They are 16-4 under Don Mattingly, guys. Let's look at this 20-game sample size. What do we attribute it to? Some people will say, hey, the manager, hey, guys are playing better. Hey, the pitching. It seems to be a little mix of everything. But what do you guys make of why Mattingly has got this team 16-4 in this 20-game span?
I think it's a combination of things. On one end, you see kind of somebody that has played like they have at a star level, which is what Mattingly did his career. So that's going to put some significantly more pressure in some of those guys. Look, this guy was a player like we did. Topper was not. The second thing is I see them paying more attention to detail. I think there were some things that were taken for granted. I mean, you see kind of the infield practices, not everybody coming out. You see a lot more pressure on this guy. And then the last thing I would mention is the accountability. They know that Rob Thompson got fired because they did not perform to their expectations. Do they perform how they're capable of doing? Now they're doing it. And look, you're riding the hot hand in Bohm and Stott, and you need to ride it as much as you can. Hopefully Garcia and Turner can get hot. Those are the two guys that need to step it up from a lineup standpoint.
Yeah, this team did not quit on Rob Thompson. That's just a bold-faced lie. They did not quit on him. They just underperformed, and they felt that, and they all admitted that look, we let this guy down, and they wanted to keep Kevin Long. They all like Kevin Long. Well, you're seeing why they like Kevin Long, and Rob took the fall for it. But look, the starting pitching got better. Like Oscar said, you got guys not hitting under 600 OPS. I'm sure that's helping a lot. And look, the bullpen's been better too. It's a combination of pretty much everything. The only guys who haven't really hit since Rob Thompson has been let go are Trey Turner and
sure.
Adolis Garcia. And JT Realmuto's been struggling too, but he's also 35 years old. It's still better to have him back in the lineup. But to me, it's the starting pitching. Like, you're getting Zach Wheeler's back. You're seeing what you're getting out of him. Christopher Sanchez. Andrew Painter has been better his last 2 starts. Jesus Luzardo has been mostly Jesus Luzardo throughout this trend. I look, that this team is just playing the way we know they're capable of playing. This 16-4 stretch, I'm not saying they're going to go 16-4 through the next 20 games, but this is more of a team that should be going 13-7, 14-6 for long stretches of time. And they're not as bad as 9-19, but they're not as good as 16-4, if that makes sense.
And pitching is the name of the game here. I mean, look, out of the last seven starts, only the Nola start was a bad one. The other 6 have been 6 or plus innings, except a Painter one, which was a 5 inning that they took him out early. But they've been amazing. I mean, those 6 out of 7 starts at this level, you're going to win a lot of baseball games.
This team only has lost 1 game. This team has lost 1 game when the starter goes 6 innings. I think they're 17-1 now or something like that.
Yeah, one of the things, listen, my take on the manager has kind of always been, listen, the manager's there to kind of set the culture. Do they like playing for him? Do they, are they excited to go to the ballpark and play for their manager? I think Thompson, they did like Thompson. They wanted to play for Thompson. I also thought that maybe after the way they lost last year, you couldn't change the roster, that maybe they should have changed the manager. That doesn't mean the manager was good, bad, indifferent. I just think they needed a new voice. And the way this season started, I think it was very apparent. Do we think Mattingly handles things differently? Well, the lineup looks very much the same. Does he handle the bullpen differently? Does he make pitching changes differently? I'm not so sure about that. I think each game kind of has a different feel to it.
I think the difference is what people aren't seeing, right? Not everybody can be in the clubhouse. Not everybody can watch pregame on the field. It's the bullpen is doing everything seemingly together now. The hitting, they're focusing more on the little things, like fielding. Yeah. Like, I think they've only had like 3 errors since Don Mattingly. That's not a coincidence, by the way.
Mattingly talked about
another component. I mean,
Mattingly talked about that yesterday. He said, look, there were plays before we weren't catching the ball. Now we're catching that ball. And then the other team would capitalize on us not catching the ball, and now we're making that play. So there's little things, and people will look at it and say, have they cleaned that up because Thompson wasn't as attention to detail? I don't know. I mean, you're there, Jeff. You get to see them pregame. Are their routines different? Are things different that are making a difference? I don't have that information.
Yeah, some things are different. I've had players tell me some things they wouldn't go too much into detail, but things are different. I mean, you can just observe it. You don't even have to ask players. Like, I know Justin Crawford's getting more time working in center field. I know Don Mattingly is talking to Bryce Harper at first base. He's talking to Felix Reyes at first base. He's over discussing things with Trey Turner. He's out in the outfield a little bit. He lets Caleb Cotham really manage the pitching staff. I think Rob Thompson was a little more hands-on with the pitching, but Don Mattingly's like, look, that's not my forte. I was a hitter, so I'm going to work with hitters, and I was a good fielder. I'm going to work with that. Caleb Cotham, you can manage that. I think that's what you're seeing. I think Anthony Contreras is really helpful to the young guys as the third base coach. I think Dusty Watton being a bench coach now, he could be more involved. It's little things people are. So that's where in my mind, coaching does make the difference. But the fact that it was said on an airwave yesterday that the players quit on Rob Thompson, that's just wrong.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. I don't think the players quit on Thompson. I do believe, look, the reason he was called topper is because he was on top of everything. He was put in that role. So he had, I think there is two things, right? When you're studying, one thing is do everything by the book, and another one is doing in practice. I do believe what we're seeing here is the difference between kind of doing everything you need to do by the book versus going out there and having Mattingly, having the experience as a player and being able to be with the hitters, being able to go into the field and feel with the guys. It's a very different dynamic, and that's what you're seeing here. I mean, you see, and a different voice. Look, the decision was the right decision. At the time, we did not like it because of what Topper had done for this team and what he represented. But look, it is the right decision. You're playing
and
at an 800 ball. I mean,
and Don's very open about stuff. Like, And again, it's like just how he handles the media. He's going to give you a long answer, especially if he likes you on certain things. He notices like certain trends that are going on. Like if like a couple weeks ago, I asked about Alec Bohm. I said, look, Alec Bohm got high in May last year. He made a couple changes to his swing. And Don basically said, I'm actually going to look into that. And so here we go. Like,
so one of the reasons for the turnaround is Jeff Kerr's question.
That's what it is.
I doubt that. But when it's your first week on the job, remember he wasn't here last May, so he's still trying to figure out some things.
Yeah.
I think now he's got kind of a pulse of what he wants to do, and I think Cotham has that pitching staff locked down. Like I always thought the pitcher would have that positive aggression. I think we all admitted that it was, and we knew the hitting wasn't going to be as bad, but. What was the ceiling here? I think the ceiling, they blew through that over the last couple weeks.
Guys, Reds have lost 3 straight games. They're 4-13 in May. Tonight it's Burns and Luzardo. So the Phillies have a good chance to get another win tonight. They have the advantage in the pitching matchup. And by the way, earlier today, it was announced by the Braves, Drake Baldwin injured, and that's a big loss for them as the Phillies now close within 7 games of the Braves, and they have a chance to win another game tonight. You would think they have the pitching matchup with Luzardo against Burns.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I mean, I do believe that we have a big advantage there. Luzardo, hopefully we get the best version of Luzardo, and you see the changes here, right? Right now, the Phillies are 20th now on runs per game. You see the ERA going down to 19. Remember, we were at 28 3 weeks ago. And the pitching performance that we've had primarily with our starters and our relievers remaining consistent, we're now 19th in baseball at 421. I do believe we have a great chance. I mean, look, this team now is you got to take advantage of these times right now. Look, we were playing when we were 9-19. We were playing at a 32% win rate. Right now, we're playing at an 80% win rate. The reality is to win 90 games, you got to play at a 55% win rate. So, look, the reality is that there are going to be it's the waves that we know. This team has been like this all along. I mean, the waves, you got to ride the waves. And right now, we're in a great wave, and let's take advantage of it, like being in the water like a surfer, like Jeff Kerr is, right?
Man.
But what was very interesting about this team to me, and we look at the run differential, right? Oscar had that run differential up -16. This is why I get mad at run differential in baseball and point differential. It really doesn't tell the whole story. Like, you get blown out twice, there goes your run differential. But they're winning close games. What is their record of 1-run games? What's their record in 2-run games? What is their record? That's what I want to know. And that's what I'm going to look up today. But they seem to be winning a lot of these close games and coming back in a lot of these close games. They have a feeling that they can win all these games.
You asked for it. Come on, Jeff. I mean,
there it is. Oscar knows it. I don't need to
Jeff,
look it up.
It's interesting you say this because yesterday, we were talking Phillies, and one of our listeners talked about the fact that they have been so much better in these 1-run games. I actually looked up Mattingly's record in 1-run games in his career and Thompson's record. They are both 51%. They have both won 51% of 1-run games. So right now, I think the 1-run games is helping them out. And obviously, as you just showed the graphic, what are they, 10-4 in 1-run games?
Yeah, it might be 11. It might be 11. I'll double check momentarily.
But still, that's a really good record where it's 10-4 or 11-4.
Yeah, listen, I think we all have to realize the Phillies – they played early in the season. They played, they were 7-8 through 15 games. They went through that Cubs-Braves run, and they just got slaughtered. They lost 10 straight there. The schedule has loosened up, and they have taken advantage of it. They need to continue to take advantage of it because they got San Diego, L.A., and San Diego coming up here, and that should kind of reset who this team is, I think. One thing I want to reset before we get out of here on Phillies Fastball today is Gage Wood. A big story happened yesterday that we didn't really dive into too much on yesterday's Fastball segment because Wood goes from Clearwater, he bypasses Jersey Shore, and goes right to Reading, guys. Jeff Kerr, what's the message?
Well, there's a couple messages here. One, Reading's trying to put all their young talent together. The Phillies are purposely doing that. So it didn't surprise me Gage Wood went to Reading. But here's what I'm curious about. will Gage Wood be on this team at some point this year, or is he going to be trade bait for somebody? Like, is he the trade bait? Because you got to look at this, right? Aaron Nola ain't going anywhere. Andrew Painter ain't going anywhere. So, the other three aren't going. So there's really no room at the end for him. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say if Aaron Nola keeps pitching bad, Gage Wood can come in and help that, but you're still in that contract. But Gage Wood is the guy. He's like Mick Abel. It seems like there's a short shelf life there. But if they don't trade Gage Wood, and I think they will for a right-handed bat, at least right now.
Interesting.
Then you have to wonder, where does he fit in all this? Is he going to be in the bullpen? He wants to be a starter. Does he want to? Will they put him in the starting rotation and stretch Painter? There's a lot of alternatives at play here, but I'm really excited to see him in Reading with that offense and see what he can do, because they're playing a lot of these young kids together for a reason.
All right.
When you look at his what he does, he looks more to me like a reliever with that fastball that he has, kind of his 2-3 pitch stuff. He looks to me more like a reliever, like a closer, than he looks to me as a starter at this point. He might want to be a starter, but the reality is who he's going to be in the majors. And I agree with you. He might be a trade bait here, and the move to Reading is to basically kind of a showcase to see what he's capable of doing.
Oh, that's interesting. I agree a little bit with a little thing from each of you guys. Him coming up here, he could be trade bait. He could also be that guy if somebody gets hurt. They need to groom somebody in case somebody got hurt.
That's the other That's the other thing of this. Like,
you can't call him up from Clearwater right to the majors, most likely not. But you can now say, hey, we need you to be the next guy in line in the event that Aaron Nola comes up with some mysterious ankle injury or, something to that effect. They need to have somebody
it
that
feels
they can
like
move.
2007. Remember when Adam Eaton was struggling in 2007? They moved Brett Myers to the bullpen, and all of a sudden they were thin in the starting rotation. They didn't really have anybody. Remember, the AAA affiliate was Ottawa in 2007, and they call up this kid from Reading, Kyle Kendrick, right? Not really he definitely was not a top prospect like Gage Wood, but he was ready. Charlie Mangle and the Phillies brass, Pat Gillick especially, thought he was ready to go. And Kyle Kendrick got them through that season and earned his spot in the rotation for that. Maybe that's Gage Wood. Maybe if Gage Wood impresses in a muff starts in Reading, you have to make a decision.
That's what I would say. He goes up, they give him trial by fire here, and if Nola continues to struggle, he probably comes up with a mysterious injury, and they move Wood into that spot. That's the other thing, though, Oscar. I do agree with you. I think he profiles better as a bullpen guy, but you got Duran here, you've got Keller, you've got Alvarado, you got Kerkering. Where does he fit into that bullpen this particular season? Is he the trade bait guy? I also look at this. We always talk on this show about how many left-handed bats they have. Rincones, left-handed. Nori, left-handed. Do the Phillies look at those guys as, hey, there's just no room for more left-handed bats here. We're going to push hard to trade those guys at the deadline.
I think there's room for Nori. I'm not sure about Rincones.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Rincones is probably not as much as Nori does have. Escobar is a very interesting. I think he was a trade bait before. Now with the whole dynamic with Adam Miller, he might not be. We don't know what they're thinking in that respect.
Last year at this time, Oscar and I were like, "Oh, Escobar will be traded at some point. Maybe not last year, but this year." Now I'm like you, Oscar. I don't think they should. I think they need to keep him around.
Yeah, I mean, he's your top infielder prospect outside of Adam Miller.
I got a Jeff Kerr trivia question to end the fastball today. Who leads the majors in RBI in May?
Bryson Stott.
There you go. Bryson Stott is your MLB RBI leader. Who would have guessed it? Only Jeff Kerr on the Phillies fastball. Oscar, there you go. Jeff Kerr with all the trivia you need. And it looks like Foley's has all the stuff you need.
Yeah, Foley always supporting us. Just wanted to support kind of his store. One of the members of our family here, 2206 South Street. That is Monday, Thursday through Sunday, starting from 11 to 7 p.m. And you can always go to foleyonsouth.com and 24/7, 365 days a year, you can go buy some great stuff like this Chase Utley baseball. So,
hey, John, if you're watching, I'll take a large of that Foley's Philly Sports Shop shirt. I'll wear it on the show.
Foley, send them all to us. We'll all put them on. All right, that's our Phillies fastball for Tuesday. Phillies. By the way, Chase Burns, this guy's been outstanding this year for the Reds.
Good.
You know, I said the Phillies have the pitching advantage tonight. I might be wrong about that one. Burns has been really good. Luzardo, Burns 193 ERA. He has 7 strikeouts, only 1 start. Against the Phillies, but 5-1 this year for the Reds, and he has an ERA.
This has been a tough series for the Phillies in terms of pitching. Like Andrew Abbott's no slouch either.
Yeah, 187 ERA this year for Chase Burns, a whip of just 1 and 55 strikeouts in 53 innings. So a tough right-hander tonight for the Reds against Luzardo for the Phils. Phillies fastball tomorrow. We'll be back. Oscar, Jeff, good talking Phillies with you, boys.
Go Phils.